All right, here we go. Today we're going to be talking about Gravitas Pour Homme by Naughton and Wilson. Of course, this is none other than Mr. Smelly's fragrance and his fragrance brand. Those of you guys who don't know his channel, I'm sure you do, but if you don't, I'll link it down below. He's very funny, he's very humorous, he has really nice fragrance videos. Just as a full disclosure here, I've never talked to him personally, and I also purchased this bottle myself, so there's no bias, there's no I'm his friend, so I'm talking highly of his fragrance. This is completely me watching his channel, watching his videos, and anticipating his fragrance release, and so I purchased it from their official website. This was about 2 weeks ago. As soon as I saw that it was available for shipping in the US, I bought a bottle. So I have had a couple weeks to really fully wear this fragrance and test it out. I know there's a few people who tried to rush out and put out their video right away as soon as it dropped. I wanted to take some time to test it so I can actually review it and not just give you some first impressions, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Full review on Gravitas Pour Homme. You guys know this is my jam, this is my type of thing, aromatic fougères, and I gotta say, this is an excellent one. So guys, I hope you're ready. Let's go and jump into it. So when you first spray this one on in the opening, what you're greeted with right away is some lavender, some patchouli, and some other woods kind of in the background here. So, what I will say is when you spray this one on, you already know what type of fragrance this is. And I say that because I want you guys to be aware that this is going to be an aromatic fougere, a more classic type of fragrance. I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction because not everyone's going to be into that sort of thing. This goes in a completely different direction than the mainstream designer releases. Blue fragrances, citrus fragrances, all that stuff. They're great, but they are much more youthful. This stuff is not youthful. This is mature. This is masculine. This is kind of like your traditional type of cologne. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. And of course, you guys know I love aromatic fougères. I love stuff like this, which is why I was so excited to purchase a bottle. Now, I will say, looking at the bottle, I don't normally do presentations, but this looks great. The gold looks incredible. It might be kind of smudged up right now, kind of fingerprinty. See if I can wipe that off a bit for you. The gold looks great, that nice gold plaque. And then the cap as well. It says Naughton and then Wilson on the back here on the bottom, as you can probably not see. Wilson, Naughton right there. Cap is pretty hefty. It's got the initials on the top of it, and then it just slides into place. It does not click. It's got some pretty good retention though. I wouldn't trust to hold it up by the cap, but you can do that. I just wanted to highlight that here for this one because I was very impressed by the presentation. The color of the scent itself is also fitting to the color or the accent colors of the bottle, kind of a gold yellowish colored scent or fragrance juice, I guess, as it goes there. So pretty cool. I know it's everyone's favorite part of the videos is the presentation. I know, that's why I don't do them personally, but I wanted to cover it for this. Back to the scent here. It opens up aromatic fougere. Now, the main players in this fragrance to me is going to be the patchouli, the lavender, the cardamom, and the oak moss. Those are kind of the main four that really put on the show here. Now, the patchouli does a couple of things here. One, it gives it a bit of a green earthiness, right? Typically, that's what patchouli does. Nice earthiness. You know patchouli when you smell it, but it also gives a bit of a smokiness. And that smokiness, to me, is what really makes this fragrance unique, and it really makes it distinctive. Most fragrances in this genre don't really have a smokiness. They're more focused on the lavender, the geranium, and some of the other woods typical of aromatic fougere. They don't really have a smokiness, but this one does, and that kind of gives it a bit more of a mysterious type of smell, a bit more of an evening kind of sexy type of smell. Typically with fragrances in this genre, they're more everyday signature scent type of thing, right? You can do just about anything with them. They aren't really good at one specific thing. It's not like they're made to be date fragrances. They're made to be casual, whatever. They just kind of do everything. But with this one here, the way that this comes across, with the patchouli giving it some smokiness, the cardamom giving it a spicy kick, and the vanilla in here giving it a bit of a sweetness, it kind of makes it to where this is an aromatic fougere, but more focused perhaps for evenings, for even dates. You can wear this on a date night and it's going to have a bit of that smooth, mysterious sexiness, like a creaminess in here that you don't normally get from fougere scents. So I find that to be really cool, and it really helps this one fit into my collection more. I do have a lot of fragrances in this category, so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, how many more do I really need? I don't wear half the ones I have. What makes this one different? And that's exactly it. That's what makes this one different. It's got more of a sweetness, more of a smokiness, and really for me, it's just kind of like an evening date night type of fougere scent, I guess. Now, if you look on Fragrantica and you look at some other reviews, you'll see it being compared to a few different scents. First of which is Bois du Portugal by Creed. I have that one. I'm not the biggest fan of it, believe it or not. Even though it is in a genre that I really like, it never has really done a whole lot for me. And I can tell you, I don't really think this smells anything like Bois du Portugal. You'll also see it get compared to Danger by Roja Parfums, and I can see that one a little bit. Danger has a very spiciness, especially in the opening. It's got cumin and some other spices in there, and it's one of those things when you smell it and you spray it, that opening, it hits you all at once. I can somewhat see the comparison there, but not a whole lot. Gravitas Pour Homme is not as sharp and peppery and in your face like that, like something like Danger. So I can kind of see where the conclusions may be drawn there, but I can say for my personal nose, I don't think they're that similar. I really don't have anything that smells like this one, and again, that really helps it to fit into my collection and be something that I could reach for when I'm in the mood for it, because it does offer something different. Performance on this one is pretty good on my skin. I do notice that for whatever reason, I go anosmic to this one pretty easily. So in my initial testings, I really had to be careful there. At first I thought it just maybe wasn't performing that well on my skin, but I knew, kind of in the back of my head that doesn't seem right. You look at the note breakdown and you see that this is not composed of all top notes, right? There are a lot of, heavy hitting, strong fragrance notes used in this, so I knew it wasn't just, lasting an hour or two and being gone. So I just kind of, assumed it was anosmia or my nose going blind to it, and I was pretty much right, because I would get other people's feedback. They would say they could still smell it, that sort of thing. On average, I've gotten about 7 hours of longevity. Projection, it tends to sit a little bit closer to my skin as well, which for a fragrance like this is perfect. You don't want something like this to fill a room. You want it to be more or less discovered. It's not something that's a skin scent, but it is something that when people come close to you or you walk by them, it lingers in the air a little bit, leaves a bit of a trail, or when they come close to you, they kind of get into your personal space and they can smell it. So performance overall is pretty good. It's not going to be a beast mode fragrance, but this type of thing isn't supposed to be. These types of fragrances, they aren't your bubblegum sweetness, projection monster, blue fragrance bombs that are supposed to fill up a room. This is supposed to be more reserved because it's a classy fragrance, and things like that are supposed to be just a little bit more refined and laid back, and I think the performance really suits this type of fragrance very well. Quality wise is also great as well. Really no complaints with quality. It doesn't smell cheap, doesn't smell like it was just thrown together. The notes are blended in a way that they all kind of sit together. There isn't really one thing that necessarily screams out more than another. It was composed very well, and you can tell that there were a lot of revisions, I'm assuming, and a lot of tweaking to get it right. I don't know for sure. It's just kind of what I pick up on here, because it is blended to a really, really nice point, and to me a pretty high standard. It smells great in terms of quality and just all the notes, how they fit together. There's no clash. Everything sits together pretty well. So we'll go ahead and touch on price here. Now, once the conversion rate and everything like that was done, I believe it worked out to be about 120 to 125 US dollars. That is converted from British pounds, which was, after shipping and all that, I think about 100 British pounds converts to around 120, 125 US dollars, something around there. So is it worth here in the US $125? In my opinion, yes. I do think this is worth the money. There are a lot of expensive fougères out there. I mean, you have something like Chanel Platinum Egoiste running you, I don't know what they go for at retail, but I know at designers you're looking at $80, $90 around there for 100 mil. You have stuff again like Roja Scandal, goes for way more money than $80 or $90. The list goes on. Habajant Fougere Royale, like $600. If you guys watch my collection video, that's the most ridiculous thing I have, and that's something that's a fougere that's a ridiculous amount of money. They're across the board. Typically these types of scents are going to be more expensive than not, usually because they are from bigger brands and so forth. So they already get pretty close to this $120 to $125 price tag. And again, this is not me being biased. This is not me being friends with anybody or being paid or being sent free product. This is my personal opinion. I think this smells great. Quality, performance, uniqueness, the composition, everything is very solid. And for me, I wouldn't have a problem with paying $120 to $125 to buy this again. And really, I can say, if you're into stuff like this, I think it's worth the money. That's just my opinion. Some people may disagree, some people may agree. That's just kind of my take on it. I think for the price, you're getting a great product here, and that's all that matters. Smells great, great quality, and just really a fougere scent that's done a bit different, and I like that. So guys, that was going to do it for me. That was my thoughts on Gravitas Pour Homme by Naughton and Wilson. What do you guys think? If you've tried this one and you're a fan of fougères, let me know down below. If you haven't tried this one and you want to, tell me down below as well. Really nice stuff here. I'm not sure if they're doing anything with samples or not. I don't know. But if you can somehow get a sample of it, I would say definitely do that. And if you're into stuff like this, it could be worth a blind buy if you're into stuff like this. But you have to like aromatic fougères to like this. If you don't have much experience with them, I would say sample it first, or get samples of some other fragrances in this genre to kind of get a feel of you might like something a bit more classic like this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. That's going to do it for me. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow night with another one. Take care.